Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Now, a crash shuts down 3 of 4 lanes on I-40 East near Highway 70 in Garner. We'll let you know more about this crash, and I'll let you know how to avoid the backups that's building right now.
And more than a dozen emergency vehicles respond to an early morning apartment fire in Raleigh. What we've learned from officials about the response.
And another nice start to the day. Our muggy meter way down here at Comfy. We'll continue to see that for part of the weekend. I'll show you when we're back up towards steamy coming up.
And as Wake County students head back to school next week, we are learning more about safety and security initiatives. What we know about the rollout of an anonymous reporting app. Straight up 6 o'clock, just rolling out of bed. You're in the right place. We are so glad you're with us, making us part of your routine. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Good morning to you and happy Friday. Yes, we made it to the golden child of the week, and our weather's going to be golden as we await sunrise. Already some beautiful colors out there, Elizabeth.
This is gorgeous. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh past the legislative building, looking over toward where the sun's going to pop up over the horizon. There's a little bit of cloud cover from Raleigh eastward. The farther east you go this morning, the more clouds you may see, but we won't see any rain out of that today. Around the triangle, 58 degrees, and the dew point is a nice low 54, so that means it feels very comfortable as you're stepping outside. 61 in Clinton. Everybody else is in the 50s. As a matter of fact, Roxborough is down to 50 right now, and we saw multiple towns in the 40s yesterday morning. It's a touch warmer this morning, anywhere in some spots as much as 3 to 5 degrees warmer, and that is a trend that begins today and continues through the weekend. It is going to be very comfortable today, though. Temperatures will be in the low 80s for highs this afternoon, but I'll show you how hotter our temperatures will be as we get into the weekend and next week. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, at 6:01, we continue to follow that breaking news on I-40 eastbound this morning. 3 of 4 lanes are closed on I-40 eastbound near Highway 70 because of a crash. Let's get right to WRAL's Heidi Kirk on the scene live right now with what we know about this crash so far. Heidi.
Well, Ken, the biggest piece of information we've learned this morning is that this crash involves a pedestrian. I'm going to step out of the way and show you what this looks like on I-40. Now, this is quite a big emergency response, as you're going to see several different law enforcement agencies and EMS across this area responding here. And like you said, there are 3 of 4 lanes closed. Now, this is outside Gardner around mile marker 307 near US 70. There's quite a bit of traffic going through here right now. We've seen this picking up throughout the morning. And I want to say, drive carefully if you're coming through this area. In fact, in the last hour, we saw a fender bender take place essentially right in front of us. So it's quite congested. There's a lot going on, a lot to pay attention to if you're coming through this area. Now, we have not learned exactly what the fate is for that pedestrian. We know that State Highway Patrol is investigating this crash. And of course, we're going to stick in this area and look for additional information and details that we can provide you as this investigation continues. Ken?
All right, Heidi Kirk reporting live there on I-40 eastbound near Highway 70. You can see the backup really right there that crash is causing. If you're heading east this morning out of Wake County, out of the capital city, there's several options for you. Highway 70 really is one option. Garner Road might be an option, and depending on where you are, Highway 70, Benson Road could be an option for you as well in terms of getting eastbound this morning. We're also checking our live sensors elsewhere around the triangle and surrounding communities. We're not seeing any delays on any of the major roadways.
Ken, thanks. More breaking news. More than a dozen emergency vehicles responded to a fire at an apartment complex in West Raleigh. This happened on Teakwood Place at the Driftwood Manor Apartments. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there just before 3 in the morning as crews responded. Fire officials tell us it took just under 30 minutes to get the fire under control. We're working to learn the extent of damage and if anyone was hurt or out of their home this morning.
Tonight, friends and family of Kiera Massenberg and her little 6-year-old daughter, Zoe Jones, will say their goodbyes. Their visitation begins at 6 this evening. Investigators say they were killed by Kiera's boyfriend, Zoe's father. And last night, loved ones celebrated their lives with a balloon release and vigil. It was nearly 2 weeks ago, authorities say Daquan Jones shot Kiera and Zoe and then shot and killed himself. Jones was in jail just a day before that on assault charges, and court records showed there was a pattern of domestic violence in the couple's relationship.
There was definitely red flags. You know, we all have reached out and tried to help her. She was really scared, and it was just, you know, it was just something that she was trying to get away from it.
As they grieve the loss of Kiera and Zoe, loved ones have a message for people. Look for signs of abuse. The funeral for the mother and daughter is tomorrow morning.
Covering Wake County today, parents will get an update about an anonymous reporting app that will be used in more schools this year. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from Herbert Akins Road Middle School in Fuquay-Varina. And Kelsey, this app, the goal of this is to help improve student safety and security.
Renee, it is, and the app is called Say Something. So some year-round schools have already been using it, including Akins Road Middle here in Fuquay-Varina. And this morning, we're going to get an update about when students and staff can use the app district-wide. This is what the app looks like. You select the issue you're reporting about, fill out this form, and it's all anonymous. Students and staff can report various incidents that impact school safety. Bullying, cyberbullying, drugs, weapons, even a planned school attack. Say Something will be used in addition to the district's anonymous reporting hotline. The district is rolling out the program in phases. Year-round middle and high schools launched the program last month. Traditional middle and high schools will start the program early this semester. And Say Something will also be available for 4th and 5th graders at some point this school year. Wake County is one of the last school districts to implement this program, so this morning we'll be sure to ask school leaders whether they have the exact dates for the rollout. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Fuquay-Varina.
Garner police say a man was arrested on child sexual abuse material charges. Jeffrey Hightower is facing 10 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Garner police, SBI, and Homeland Security executed a search warrant at his apartment, which resulted in the arrest. The investigation is ongoing.
Democratic National Convention wrapped up about 11:30 late last night. Here's a live look right now this morning. Vice President Kamala Harris made history as the first woman of color to officially accept the Democratic Party's nomination for president.
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
During her acceptance speech, Harris shared her personal story, including the powerful influence her mother had on her life. Harris also laid out her vision for America, focusing on issues like the economy, health care, and reproductive rights.
A strong middle class has always been critical to America's success, and building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
And when she finished her speech, she was joined on stage by her family and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz. Now the focus shifts to the first debate between former President Trump and VP Harris. That'll happen September 10th. Ahead this morning on Today, Savannah Guthrie is live from Chicago to recap the DNC's final night, including celebrity appearances and Kamala Harris's speech as she accepted the Democratic Party's nomination for president. The Today Show gets started at 7 o'clock right here on WRAL.
Former President Trump criticized Vice President Harris's speech on his social media platform, Truth Social. In a post, he said Harris did not mention any big subjects during her speech. He also referred to Harris as a radical Marxist during an interview with Fox News after the convention.
She is a Marxist with open borders. She's not going to have any fracking in Pennsylvania. She's going to close down the oil and gas industry, and our country is going to go bust.
Trump toured the U.S.-Mexico border in Arizona yesterday, reiterating his pledge to shut down the border and deport millions of illegal immigrants.
Federal prosecutors have agreed to drop escape charges against one of the men charged with the murder of Wake County Deputy Ned Byrd. Alder Marin Sotelo is in the custody of Mexican government awaiting extradition. He escaped from a Virginia jail last May and was later captured in Mexico. You may be asking why they're doing this. The U.S. Attorney's Office says it'll drop Marin Sotelo's escape charges so that he can return to the U.S. more quickly. Deputy Byrd was killed in August 2022.
Good morning, Chris Lovingood here in the WRAL Live Center at 6 o'clock in the morning. We try to get you a look at the economy, at least some indicators on how things are going right now. I can tell you right here from this Market Watch calendar, today, two big events are happening. So we have the Fed Chair, Jerome Powell. He is going to be talking to some global financial leaders at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, at a retreat there. And then there's also the new homes report that's slated to release around 10 a.m. today. Now, last month, it appeared that there were 617,000 new home sales, and we're seeing an increase of about 3,000. So that's looking pretty good. I want to look at futures this morning as well, because you'll see here things are in the green for our futures right here. Dow Jones up 126, S&P at 500 up 26.75 as well. And this is all the things that people are paying attention to right now, because next month there is the potential for the Fed to announce a rate cut.
Thanks, Chris. Kids are headed back to school, and we know this. Some counties invest more money in education than others.
Please think of all these children that Wake County Public School System service.
Tonight at 6, breaking down local school spending. What percentage of your county's budget is going to schools, and why there's such a huge gap from one county to another?
Today, you may hear what sounds like gunfire or loud explosions. It's related to the Army's Special Forces training. It's the final stage of training before troops can join the Army's elite Green Berets. The training lasts several days. It takes place across several different counties, including Wake County. The training will continue through September 5th.
Well, just ahead, the rail strike in Canada that's already having effects on the United States. What the government there is doing to get trains running again. Michelle.
And the U.S. Postal Service looking to slow down mail delivery times. Will tell you who could be affected.
And it's a comfortable start this morning with temperatures in the 50s, and our dew point also feels refreshing, but we're about to see steamy conditions again. I'll show you why we're seeing the change.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14 is kind of a gray start here at Carolina Beach this morning, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be a gray and gloomy weekend there. It does look like we'll see partly cloudy skies for the bulk of the weekend, and just a small chance for thunderstorms. Along the east-facing beaches, we do have moderate rip current danger for today. There's nothing sitting off the coast of the Atlantic, but it doesn't mean that we won't have rip current danger on and off through the weekend. So if you're headed to the beach this weekend, always check that ahead of time. Temperatures should feel lovely tomorrow, mainly in the low 80s, and then low to mid 80s on Sunday. Mountains, of course, depending on where you are, but Grandfather Mountain 70 tomorrow, but nearly 90 there in Bryson City for the afternoon, and some warm temperatures again on Sunday. We'll start to warm up here Sunday too. I'll show you coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, here in the WRAL Traffic Center, we continue to follow that breaking news down in Garner. At least 3 or 4 lanes of I-40 eastbound closed this morning as a result of a crash near Highway 70. This is a live look at the scene, courtesy photographer Keith Baker, a reporter on the scene, Heidi Kirk, letting us know that this involves a pedestrian. You can see just one lane right there is getting through. There's also a secondary onlooker accident, so be careful out there. Come with me back to the live traffic sensors. I'll give you a couple of options in terms of alternate routes. East Garner Road might be an option for you if you're heading east, as well as Highway 70. And Benson Road, also another option if you're trying to get eastbound this morning. And of course, Jeff, I'll have an update in about 10 minutes.
All right, look forward to a different mode of transportation here. Canada's government has had to step in to get its trains moving again. There's been a labor dispute that has halted all of that country's freight traffic at this moment. The government forced the 2 major railroads into arbitration with its labor union. Late last night, Canadian officials said rail operations will resume under the old contract until a deal is reached. Approximately $572 million of trade comes in containers across the U.S.-Canada border every day. Right now, that has all stopped. A Canadian labor board now has to decide whether to move ahead with the government's order.
For those of you who use snail mail, prepare for even longer wait times. The U.S. Postal Service is considering a slower mail delivery in the coming months. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey is here now with who will be affected and when this would start. Michelle.
Well, Renee, the slowdown won't happen before the election. The Washington Post reports this is an effort for the Postal Service to save money. Also, it would only impact people who live more than 50 miles from a large processing facility, and most people live closer than that, and the move would actually improve service for them. For those who live further away, it could add an additional day to the current delivery timetables. The post office cannot slow service without permission from its governing board. 4 years ago, the Postmaster General received major backlash for making similar changes close to the 2020 election, which could have had a big impact on voting, with nearly half of all voters casting their ballots by mail.
The days of summer are coming to an end with many school districts starting school next week. But you can still enjoy some family fun this weekend at several events, including a food truck rodeo in downtown Raleigh.
We're going to hang on to every last minute of this. We have all the details in our Out and About Best Bets, starting off with a big festival in Cary, the annual Lazy Days Arts and Crafts Festival. It's happening all weekend in downtown Cary. Nearly 300 artists from 16 states, plus interactive art activities. This year's Kid Days section includes a kid collector's market with pint-sized pieces created by festival artists. The festival is open tomorrow and Sunday, and admission is free.
Packapalooza is happening tomorrow. Every year, this block party helps welcome students back to campus at NC State. It's open to the public as well. Tomorrow from 2 to 10 p.m., there will be lots of fun on Hillsborough Street in Raleigh. There will be music, entertainment, family-friendly activities, and food. So come hungry like a wolf. Admission is free.
Man, who doesn't love a food truck rodeo? Round me up. There is one happening Sunday in downtown Raleigh. Raleigh Food Truck Rodeo will be along Fayetteville Street. More than 50 trucks, noon to 6 p.m. You get more information on these events or other events by heading to WRAL.com. Just search keyword Out and About. One of the last big weekends of summer, right?
That's right. And it's going to start feeling more like summer come the weekend. But this morning, no, we're still in fall. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Some big differences out there, too. Behind you guys there over downtown Raleigh, some cloud cover, but then just over at the airport, we're looking at completely clear skies. So it kind of tells the story of what's happening out there. The farther east you go, especially past Raleigh, you say toward Wilson, Rocky Mount, we're seeing a lot more cloud cover. And then the farther west you go, the more sunshine that we'll see as we get through the day today. And even though you may be under some of those clouds, we're not likely to see any rain today. We just have this boundary that's sitting offshore. That's going to feed a little bit of cloud cover in for today. High pressure, though, keeps control of our weather, keeping most of us nice and clear and cool, too. You can see the blue shaded areas. That's where temperatures are below normal. Of course, we get into late weekend, early next week, and we see the orange colors taking over. You know what that means? Temperatures above normal. But it has been a treat. You know, we've seen multiple days in a row with these lovely conditions. A nice afternoon for today, 81 in Durham and Southern Pines, 81 in Goldsboro, as well as Rocky Mount and Wilson. It'll feel very much like yesterday did. And tomorrow morning, same story. We're looking at our temperatures dropping into the mid-50s in the north and low 60s down south. So feeling comfortable again tomorrow. But temperatures will begin to creep up. We'll see a high of 85 for Saturday, then 88 Sunday, and 91 on Monday. It'll be a gradual shift, but you might notice a difference between Saturday and Sunday. Sunday will feel a little hotter and a little stickier. We are into football Friday. Temperatures this evening are going to be great for that. We'll start off at 6 o'clock, close to 80 degrees, but by 8 o'clock, a quick drop into the mid-70s and then on into the 60s. So you may want to bring an extra layer with you. Lazy Days Festival this weekend, too, in Cary, looking at mid-80s during the middle of the afternoon on Saturday, but Sunday it may be slightly warmer and a little bit more humid, but we're looking at dry conditions for both days. Once we get into next week, our temperatures will be above normal, and it looks like we could stay that way through the first whole week of September. That does mean, you know, summer-like fun for the holiday, but you'll have to watch it again with the heat index really starting to climb. We're dry into Tuesday, and we don't really need any rain, but at this point, we haven't seen any measurable rain lately, and it may be that we don't see any until next Friday, at which point it could be 17 days since we've seen rain. And of course, that's the holiday weekend. Friday starts the holiday weekend, so we'll be watching for that closely. In the next 7 days, we're not looking at anything developing in the tropics, but in the next 2 to 3 weeks, there's a good chance that we'll have some development. We are now in the peak of the hurricane season. Checking out those temperatures, really nice today and tomorrow, a little warmer Sunday, and then the heat is back on for the middle of next week. We're going to talk about how that feels with the rising dew points coming up in just a bit. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WO Traffic Center. We continue to follow that breaking news there in Garner. At least 3 or 4 lanes are closed right now on I-40 eastbound near Highway 70. You can see the delays it's causing. Let's give you a live look at that scene right now and show you exactly what we're talking about in terms of those lanes being closed. We also know that there's a situation where there's there was a second crash, actually, on local fender bender. So if you're going through this area, just be careful and watch for the heavy first responders and police presence there around there. Back here live in the WRAL Traffic Center, let's give you some alternate routes if you're heading east, because I know a lot of you are trying to get to the beach, maybe on the coast, and get an early start. Garner Road might be an option for you. Highway 70 is actually the Clayton bypass is a great option for you, depending on what part of the coastline you're going to. And also Benson Road might be an option for you this morning, just to avoid I-40 eastbound. And we're not showing any delays on any of the other major roads in Wake County and surrounding communities.
Students are back on UNC's campus right now, and pro-Palestinian protesters are back as well. What they are calling on the university to do and why it's difficult for the university to follow through on their request.
And Football Friday nights are back tonight. With new rules this year, we'll share what you can bring into Wake County games.
And here we have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. We'll be right back with what's trending.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
The summer of female pop releases is alive and strong.
At midnight, Sabrina Carpenter released her new album, Short and Sweet. Ken Smith is here now with What's Trending.
Yeah, Renee and Jeff, 2 songs from the album, Espresso and Please, 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 already went viral this summer when they were released as singles. The former Disney Channel star appeared on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last night to celebrate the release.
And if that's not a big enough deal, being on Jimmy Fallon with that, she opened with Taylor Swift on her tour, Eras Tour. So she's going to do her own stadium tour this year. She's never done a stadium tour, and she obviously just learned from one of the best. So off she goes.
And Espresso, catchy hook, good summer song, yeah.
It is. Now, this next story, it's understandable that it's trending because Twister star Glenn Powell is absolutely unrecognizable in his latest role. He shared this photo on Instagram for his upcoming role in the Hulu comedy Chad Powers. Now, you recall it's inspired by Eli Manning's sketch in which he goes undercover to experience football tryouts. Jeff, I think you remember that.
I do. Renee's heartbroken, I can tell you right now, by that look.
He's putting on that shaggy wig. He has a prosthetic nose for this role. And he kind of looks like Tom Cruise a little bit, right, in that one shot. And some people are like maybe David Arquette. But, yeah, downplaying his Hollywood looks there. Just all for the role. All for the role.
That's right.
But I'll still go see it because it's Glenn Powell.
It's been the summer of Glenn Powell. Ken, thanks. Our news continues.
Look at this sunrise. Oh my goodness, gorgeous color there. A little bit of cloud cover, but it's not going to last all day. Take a look at your outdoor dining planner. At lunchtime, temperatures will be in the 70s and the 70s in the evening. It's Friday. Get outside, enjoy it. I'll show you how much warmer it'll be for the weekend.
And this morning, we'll get an update about an anonymous reporting app for Wake County schools coming up when your student will be able to log in.
And we'll take you back for this live look right now. Major backups on I-40 near US 70 in Garner after a person was hit on that road. We'll get a look at the traffic delays we are seeing there and how to get around this.